All right, welcome everybody to our weekly podcast. This is Lisa, and I have Rebecca and Heidi with me from EatCrunchy.com. So, we wanted to start off as we usually do with an update of how this past week went. Then we're going to have a little conversation about what it means to be on sort of a long-term weight loss journey. And then we're going to talk about our favorite desserts that we found since we've been on Weight Watchers. So let's start with the update. Heidi, how did your week go?
I lost 5 pounds this week, which was pretty exciting. I didn't do anything special. I just stuck to the same plan, which just goes to show that when you go off the plan like I did the prior week, you don't lose weight. But
Right.
when you do, you lose weight. That brings my total loss down to 42.2.
Yay!
Yay! So I'm going to go next because the big surprise is Rebecca. So I lost 4.5 pounds. So my total weight loss right now is 43.4.
Yay!
Wow!
That's awesome.
And Rebecca, drum roll please.
I feel like I need to put an asterisk or something. So my loss this week was 8.2 pounds
Woo!
for a total loss of 39 pounds. But the reason why I need to put an asterisk is that I did not lose 8 pounds of fat in a week. And I feel like I just have to be clear about that. So the last several weeks I've been gaining and then I drop, and that's just how my body does things. So I noticed I was losing a lot of water weight this week. So I feel like the efforts of the last 3 weeks are combined and represented today.
But you lost 8 pounds.
But yes, no, and I'm excited about it, but I feel like I don't want people to be like, oh, like the lady when I weighed in, she was like, did you eat any food this week? And I said, yes, I did. And she's like, well, then how did you lose 8 pounds? And I said, this is just how my body operates. Last week I gained 2 pounds, but I didn't actually gain 2 pounds of fat. I probably had gained water weight, and now my body's just letting everything go.
I didn't know that
works,
the lady had said something.
That's
yeah,
really funny.
That's funny.
So I'm very excited for my weight loss. I'm not taking away from it at all. I'm just recognizing it's a product of effort that's been going on for weeks, not like 1 week all of a sudden I made effort and it worked.
Okay. But we're still happy.
Yes,
Okay, so to our main topic, this came up last week when we were talking about discouragement, and I was reminded about, the world that we're in of like before and after pictures online or quick fixes, lemonade diets or cabbage soup diets or whatever. They get into our mindset that weight loss should just be a quick, you rip off the Band-Aid, it's tough for a while, and then you're done. And I know for myself, I spent many, many years, trying all of those different things at different times. And it took some time for me to sort of come to the realization that I wasn't going to change my habits permanently unless I sort of did it over time. And that weight loss takes time, and your body isn't meant to lose a lot of weight just like right away, which is what a lot of diets promise. So today we're going to talk about just the journey of weight loss and how, it's most of us aren't here because we have 5 pounds to lose, right? We have more than that to lose. So even though all 3 of us have had some success, we have more to go. So that's our topic. Just to sort of kick it off, though, I thought a really good sort of question to ask would be, what was it like for you guys to come to terms with, or when did you come to terms with the fact that this is a journey that was going to take time?
Go
ahead. I don't know that I have come to terms with it.
That's what I was going to say.
It's like logically I understand this is going to take some time, but emotionally I'm still kind of mad about it. And there are days that I think ahead, like when I hit goal and eating 30 points a day, it kind of makes me angry that like this is how I have to live for the rest of my life, and it's very frustrating. So I feel like in a lot of ways I'm still emotionally getting over that. Logically, I recognize it. Logically, I tell myself, I try to say the right words, try to be kind to myself, try to be positive wording and that kind of thing. Like, I didn't put on this weight overnight. It's going to take some time to overcome. And even when I hit goal, it doesn't mean that I can't have things that I like. It doesn't mean that I can't go out and enjoy a meal. But I think emotionally, I'm still working through how I feel about this taking a long time.
Yeah.
And always having the struggle.
I agree. Well, and I think every diet says, it was diet for a long time. And then they're like, no, it's a lifestyle change. So then every diet started saying, this isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. So really, lifestyle change became synonymous with short-term fixed diet, right? And so I feel like like Heidi, I feel like I'm still adjusting to the fact that this is going to be long term. And for me, I think it's even an intellectual adjustment I think I'm going through. Like I over the past few weeks have been having those thoughts. And I think part of that is what contributes to the discouragement that I feel when I'm not losing or I go up, because I feel like, oh, this is a fixed amount of time. If I really understood this to be a long journey and accepted that, I wouldn't experience that discouragement, I think.
It's true. One thing though that's interesting, Rebecca, is you really, in particular, I think, have noticed, like you talked about it a minute ago. You said my body just does this. You didn't know that a few months ago. Mm-mm. You were frustrated. You thought there was something wrong with you. You were going to doctors. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say too much on the podcast.
I'm not a hypochondriac.
She's not a hypochondriac, but she didn't understand why the body didn't always sort of react exactly as you wanted it to. And I used to do that too. I would get every diet that I would start, I would pull up an Excel spreadsheet and I would go, okay, if I lose 3 pounds a week, and like, okay, by this date, I'm going to be this weight. And then when it would start to go off, I'd adjust the spreadsheet and I'd be like, okay, now I just have to lose more next week to catch up because this week, and then the spreadsheet never got filled out past the first week. So, I mean, it was that expectation that like, okay, I'm on the journey and bam, it's all going to happen now. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work like that. It's not just that it's long term, it's that there are ups and downs throughout. So we talked last time about, I think, the downs. I think we had a really good conversation about the discouragement. But what are the ups? Like, what are the benefits? And I don't just mean like the, maybe clothes feeling better, but I mean like what are the benefits of having all these successes to celebrate and other things you might have noticed?
Well, I feel like it's helping me to appreciate my body, helping me to be grateful for my body. I also, I want to learn how to eat in a healthy way in a long run. And so I choose way more fruits and vegetables now than I used to choose, and am much more consistent at eating those things. And I don't know that was part of how I did things before. I'd kind of trained myself. I'd do it for a month or 2 or 3 months, and then I would stop. But mm-hmm. I'm 8 months in, and I'm still kind of adjusting and tweaking and finding ways of being healthier and healthier. So I feel like it's helping to set into place some good habits.
I mean, I just talked about being angry, so let me think for a second. No, I think that's one of the things that I like about Weight Watchers is that it's such a holistic plan. And so I think that one of the things I've taken away from this is I almost feel happier, mm-hmm. like in general, not just because I've lost a little weight, but because I feel like Weight Watchers and a lot of its topics that it chooses every week,
for the meetings that they have,
for the meetings that they have, is trying to, and even through some of the Oprah conversations, is trying to like change your mindset to this growth mindset, to this adaptable mindset, to this more optimistic mindset than I've been in the past. I also think that the benefit of Weight Watchers is as we lose weight and we have to tweak our recipes and tweak the things that we've eaten, I'm exploring foods that I've never tried before. And so I find that I am enjoying some of the fruits and vegetables that I select that I probably would have never tried.
Well, I guess I want to say too, it's not about Weight Watchers, but I guess I'm thinking about what you said a second ago, Lisa. Like the concept of having a spreadsheet and things like that, like that works for some people. And so I feel like one thing that is good for me about Weight Watchers is I've learned that doesn't work for me. And so therefore this does.
It was occurring to me today when we were sitting at the meeting, as I was sort of looking around at the comments people were making. Even though we're all on Weight Watchers, like we're all really on our own plan. Mm-hmm. Because we all eat differently, which is completely different. I'm not going to name names, but that's very different than a lot of other quote-unquote diets, right? Because they give you the same food and you're just supposed to eat it. And Weight Watchers is so adaptable to your lifestyle. We're actually kind of all doing something different just within the points concept and finding success that way. But I was thinking another benefit of having it be a long-term thing is we're getting to celebrate these victories. We celebrate disappointments, but we also celebrate victories, which I feel like translates outside of the sphere. Like it makes me feel in control of myself, because I lost a couple pounds, and then I performed the behavior that allowed my body to, release the weight. So, and as you have those victories over time that build up, you gain that strength. So that like Heidi, I think when we're down to 30 points, like we'll probably be able to do it because we will have been working towards that this whole time.
It's a nice thought.
But I think that it makes you feel like, you know what, I did something. I took control of something that's really important. And I didn't accomplish the whole thing right now, but I did accomplish a step. And I think when you try the quick Band-Aid approach, you're not learning how to control yourself. You're not learning how to control your eating. You know, you're doing something quick that you'll probably gain back right afterwards. So somebody is, you know, starting a journey. They've been doing the ups and downs of the diets. They're listening, and they're saying, oh, but that means I have to get used to the idea that it's going to take a long time. What advice would you give that person who's starting off? I didn't warn them about this question, so. But what would you say to the person who's like starting on their first day?
Don't think about it like this is how it's going to be. Because I think that is a discouraging thing. Take it one day at a time. Like, today I'm going to be healthy. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but today I'm going to be healthy. This meal, I'm going to make a healthy choice. This moment, I'm going to make good decisions. If I had 8 months ago started and thought, I'm going to still be doing this in 8 months, and I didn't plan on quitting, right? But I didn't conceptualize that. On the days that I was having a bad day, I would have been, then screw it, and I'm done. Like, I feel like that concept might not have been a helpful thing for me. I feel like I had to grow organically into it. And like I said, I'm 8 months in and still adjusting to the fact that this is how things are going to be. And so I would say just take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, Rebecca. I too think things through, like every, you know, just this meal, or just, I have to think a little bit more than the meal, because otherwise I'd be like, let me use all my points on this meal. But I think about like just this day. I'm not saying I have to do this tomorrow. I just have to get through this day, or I just have to get through this week. When I signed up for their 3-month, they had a 3-month promotional period, and I said I was going to do it for 3 months, and then we'll see what happens. I didn't really intend on quitting. I just knew that I could commit to 3 months.
Right.
That's the length of time I was willing to do something and not feel overwhelmed by. So that when I got to the 3 months, you know, then they renew you every month. And so in some ways I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it for another month. Okay, I'll do it for another month. Mm-hmm. And then every day is just like, you know, I'm not saying I can't have a donut tomorrow. Let's just wait till tomorrow, though. Or if they're, you know, whatever it is that I'm craving, I can have a little bit of, but if I'm wanting a lot of it, I'll say, well, let's just put it off till tomorrow. And so like every day is a new day.
Yeah, and I think that I like that concept, because I think it is overwhelming. I went to a nutritionist one time who I was a member of a gym, and they had this like free nutritionist session, and so she says, okay, if you're going to lose, you know, 1 pound a week or something, because that, you know, that's like the recommended amount, then you're going to be at your goal. And she gave me this date that was, I'm not going to say how far in the future, but it was really feeling like it was in the future. And she kind of looked at me and said, so how do you feel about that? And I just like walked away. Like, I was like, well, screw that. Well, I had not accomplished the goal by that date because I didn't do anything in the meantime. I'm sure I did 50 things in the meantime and they all failed, but so
that reminds me of that quote that I've seen that says, if you had started your goal when you said you were going to, where would you be right now?
Right. Like, that's right. So yeah, I think taking it day to day is good advice. I also think, you know, after I lost the first amounts on Weight Watchers, I thought to myself, this is the easiest that I've ever lost weight. And now that some more time has gone by, I feel like it, you know, it is hard. And we talked about that last week. Like it's hard, and it's hard on a daily basis, but it's still easier than anything else. Weight loss is just going to be hard, right? So, and I don't know that it's ever going to be easy, but when you put it, you know, how miserable I was, at least now I feel like I'm accomplishing something. I'm moving the right direction, whether it takes however long it takes. Somehow that I feel just better about it in general. So
I really like how I can have a bad week, and it's okay that I had a bad week,
mm-hmm.
and I can come back and just feel I didn't like it. Almost reins in those times that you have bad weeks. It reins in it a little bit so that it's not a crazy week,
mm-hmm.
but also it makes it so easy to come back. Like no one has ever, you know, if I skipped a meeting, no one's ever judged me. Mm-hmm. If I gain weight, they don't, for the most part, say anything. And so I like I appreciate how easy it is to always come back on track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one time I gained, and the lady was like, "Oh, you gained this week," in like a disappointing tone, and I was like, "Your commentary was not needed.
Don't shame me.
Don't shame me. I do enough of that in my head."
Yeah.
Hopefully she's the anomaly.
But one thing I feel I had an experience yesterday at work that I attributed a lot to the success because of Weight Watchers. So I had a really stressful day and things that were just kind of really emotionally heavy at work, and I felt like I wanted to eat a whole bunch of donuts. I actually almost messaged you guys and was like, I just want to eat a whole donut, cake, cookie. Like I wanted just everything, and I thought, I'm just really hungry, and I paused. I'm like, I know that there's a lot of stress going on. You need to take a walk. Like, go to some other place and just go away. Not just to walk, but I need to get my brain somewhere else. So there's a little gift shop in the building that I work in. So I was headed down there and just kind of moving myself from the scene and kind of getting a chance to calm down, gave me a chance to recenter, and then I was okay. And I didn't even remember that I had wanted the food until I had like come back and was at my desk again, like doing things again. And so I felt like that's a concept that I wouldn't have followed through with that before Weight Watchers.
I was going to say too, I mean, we do get a lot of credit to Weight Watchers as the plan, but we've also been doing this together. Right? Rebecca started a month later, I joined a month later, Heidi joined us, she said like 3 months or initially, but she's still here. And we do this together. We text each other ideas for food when we get discover something that's got low points. We tell each other about it. We've done like cooking sessions together. We're doing this website and podcast. So support has been critical. If I was trying to do this all by myself, even for how good of a plan I think Weight Watchers is, I don't know that I would still be on it. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure that I would be, but I
don't think I would be.
Yeah. So support, find support if you're just starting off. Like it's, people don't like to talk about, maybe we'll do a podcast about that in the future. People don't always like to talk about their struggles even with their families, but like it's important to have support. So.
Well, and just to chime in, and I think we could talk about this another time too, but be willing to find support at meetings, because I think that there are people that are there that are also looking for support, and not in a weird clingy way, but in a we're all doing this together, and let's make sure that we're kind and helpful, So I think there's a lot more that we'll talk about in a future podcast about support.
Okay, so chime in. Okay, so let's get to our final topic, which is what are the favorite desserts that you've discovered? Since you guys are going to take all mine, but you can go first. Since starting Weight Watchers, because Weight Watchers does put a premium on sugar. Sugar gets a lot of points, and so if you're going to have something sweet and you find something that's lower points, that's a real find on the Weight Watchers program. So, who would like to go first?
I'll go. I probably will not take yours. I think I could think of one of them that you liked, but I will not take that one. Yoplait makes those Go-Gurts that, the yogurt comes in a stick, and there are other brands of that too. I just particularly buy Yoplait. And the normal kind are 3 points per stick, and the Simply ones are 2 points per stick. I actually stick them in the freezer, and then when I'm craving ice cream or something, I'll go get one of those because they're 2 or 3 points depending on which kind I bought that week.
And I've stolen that from your freezer, and they taste very yummy. They're
very creamy. Once you've had your hand on them a little bit, so they can melt just a little bit, they're creamy, and they they hit that spot for a while.
Yeah.
And then I also like Pizzelles. I find them at Aldi. They're just really thin wafer-like cookies. And I want to say, I think you can have 2 of them for 1 point. I think they're might even 3. It's something like you'd have 7 of them for 5 points, something like that. So I don't know exactly. And so I'll have frozen peaches, and I'll put Cool Whip on top of it, and I'll crunch up the Pizzelle and put that on top. So it's kind of like an ice cream type thing or a cobbler type thing. And frozen peaches are free. Cool Whip, depending on how much you put in, is very little. So it could be a 1 to 4 point dessert, depending on how much I have on it. That's very satisfying. That gives me the crunch and the cool and the creamy all together. Those are probably my 2 favorites.
I want to eat now.
Well, Skinny Cow. So Skinny Cow Ultimate Chocolate Sandwich, I think is what it's called. It's 8 points. It's a lot of points, but it's delicious. I'm a chocolate person. So they have chocolate caramel and vanilla. Chocolate's the best, I think. And they also have Skinny Cow has a Greek frozen yogurt ice cream pop that's 4 points, which is really good. One of my excited dessert finds was actually for Heidi's birthday. I made a birthday cake, and I used a cake mix, which I went through and found the lowest point of all the cake mixes, which I don't even remember which one it was right now. And then instead of adding eggs and oil, I added Greek yogurt, light Greek yogurt, and it way cut down on the points that it was. And then we used, Cool Whip and sugar-free pudding as like a middle layer between the cake and then around the cake. And then, anyway, I thought it was really good.
It was really good and very moist.
It was very moist. I was surprised at how moist it was.
And there was that key lime pie we had. Oh, there's so many desserts. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. There's a really yummy key lime pie recipe where you use Greek yogurt and sugar-free Jell-O, and it's yummy. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think for me, just fruit and Cool Whip was something I didn't really have a lot before, but I can have some mixed fruit and put a couple dollops of Cool Whip on top, and I feel very satisfied with that. So
yeah, every time you're at Rebecca's house, there's Cool Whip.
There's Cool Whip. I just bought some today. It's in the fridge.
The hard part with that is only having a couple tablespoons.
It's true.
Because it adds up. So I think one of my finds was Murray's shortbread sugar-free cookies. So I was looking for something sweet one time, and I wanted something crunchy, and I just tried them, and it's I don't remember the exact number. It's like 10 or 12 for 5 points or something. So you can actually have a few without going crazy on the points, but they're pretty good. They don't have that same sort of sugar-free flavor that things, aftertaste that some sugar-free things have. So they're pretty good, and I've had them dipped in Rebecca's Cool Whip before, and that's good. So, and then
you can also make mini ice cream sandwiches out of them with Cool Whip in between.
Oh, that's a good
and freeze
idea.
them. They're really good too.
And then I just like everything creamy. So all the frozen yogurt that Heidi talked about, Cool Whip that Rebecca talked about. One thing that everyone in Weight Watchers seems to love is Halo. I've tried a few of them. Some are better than others, but they haven't taken the place of ice cream. So I will say, Weight Watchers, you have your weekly points. Sometimes you just go get ice cream. Go get the thing that you really want, and it'll make you feel like you got it, and then you're done, and then, you don't have to replace it with something else that's just not as good or as satisfying. So, okay, well, that's our podcast for the week. Thanks for joining us. Please come find us on eatcrunchy.com and come to our Facebook page as well, and we will see you next week.